Greetings and welcome to our podcast. This is Never Seen It. My name is Trent. I'm here with my wife, Betsy.
Hello!
Today, we are going to watch a movie neither of us have seen. We're going to watch the 1995 crime classic, Heat.
Yes, we are.
Heat. Betsy, we haven't seen this movie.
No.
And, just to go along with, hey, it's summer, why not watch a movie called Heat?
This is like the hottest day of the year to date.
It's going to be like 99 degrees today or some shit. Anyway, so, what do you know about this movie, Betsy?
I think that this is like one of those bank heist movies, ?
Yeah, it's a heist movie.
And it's kind of heavy hitters. Like, this is a packed movie as far as stars go. This is is this De Niro and Pacino?
De Niro, Pacino, and Val Kilmer.
So yeah, this is that kind of spot in their career where they were really hitting their stride. They were already famous. They already both had an Oscar, but in the 90s was when they were raking it in.
Yeah, these two guys were in high demand, and like they just kept on cranking out hits. Casino came out the same year as Heat. So
wow.
De Niro was on a hot streak.
Absolutely. But as far as like what this actually is, I don't know. I'm assuming that they are all the same crew that are doing this. I don't know if it's one where we are planning the heist the whole movie, if we have several heists throughout the movie, if it's right at the beginning and then it's all the chase after.
Or is it like Reservoir Dogs where you don't actually see the heist?
Right.
It's just the aftermath.
Because this would have been circa the same time as Reservoir Dogs, you know, a couple years after. And that was a very in thing to do. That was a very trendy thing in the early mid-90s
to focus on the robbers and not the actual act.
Yeah, we're doing the story about these people. We're not talking about the thing. It's kind of the MacGuffin of the piece. We just don't address it.
Right.
So I don't really know what to expect. You were looking this up before we started recording, and you said this is a Michael Mann movie.
Yeah.
Didn't know that until 10 minutes ago.
Nope. And Michael Mann has put out some fucking bangers. Like, one of our favorite movies, Collateral, was a Michael Mann joint.
God, that's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
And it has grown on me. Like, I liked it the first time I watched it, but the more I have seen it, the more I'm like, shit, this is good.
It is my favorite Tom Cruise movie by a mile.
Well, and for the time, and we talked about this in the last episode when we watched a Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah. I've done that a couple of times this month.
We have recently. He was playing against type.
Yeah, he was a bad guy.
He was the bad guy, and he looks completely different in that movie. Yeah. So, yeah, that one Michael Mann did. You said he did Inside Man, which you have not seen that one, but I have, and I think maybe we'll get to that one someday because I think it's at least worth watching. And then there were just a ton of other ones that you mentioned. Now I've forgotten entirely, but a bunch that I had seen.
Yeah, he did Ali.
Yeah.
And Hancock, so a couple with Will Smith.
Yep.
His most recent one was Ford versus Ferrari, which is we didn't talk about it at the time because we didn't have a podcast yet, but that is the quintessential dad movie.
Absolutely. When I walked out and I wrote my one sentence review, I was like, this is such a dad movie because it's that kind of thing that is always on cable and your father loves it.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that one of those cable channels can just grab onto and just throw it on at any time. It's a good movie. I like it.
Don't get me wrong.
We're not denigrating the movie as a dad movie. And by the way, happy late Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Absolutely. But Heat is one that I haven't gotten to yet. And I don't really have any reason for not having seen it other than I just haven't gotten to this one yet.
I've wanted to see Heat for years.
Yeah?
Yes.
This is like a bucket list one for you.
Yes. So many people that I have followed just through whatever, the internet, have just raved about Heat.
Okay.
And it's mainly people who have like worked in the video game industry because a lot of video games have taken their cues from Heat.
Interesting.
Not only in their storytelling, but their action sequences and just the entire thing. Like Grand Theft Auto 5 is basically Heat.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a crew of people who do, like, that's a heist video game.
Okay.
You're planning a heist, you're assigning people to do a thing, and I'm very curious to see what kind of references I pull out of this movie that I've seen in other things.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'll be really interesting. I love when you can draw the perspective of video games, because I don't ever get those. I don't pick those up because I don't play video games.
Sure.
But you've done it a few times as we've watched other movies that you've heard of and you've heard people talk about because of people in the video game industry.
Indeed.
So we'll see how this compares. But is there anything else that you actually know about this one?
Just what I've said. I was like hovering over the Heat thing, and I saw an actress in this movie that I had no idea that it was going to be in it. I'm going to leave that for later so that you can discover it on your own.
Good.
But holy cow, I had no idea she was in this movie.
I suspect this is going to be another one that has a lot of people I recognize.
At least a few.
At least a few.
All right, so we're going to go on and watch Heat. We will be right back. And hey, we're back. Betsy, did you feel the heat?
I mean, there were certain moments I was certainly feeling the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was really good. I understand why people like this. This is one for me I think I'm going to have to watch a couple times to really get to the I love this movie phase.
Okay.
Because I definitely see this being a movie I could love, but there's so much going on, and to figure out who is who and who is doing what, and wait, what's happening here?
To have it all come to you organically, rather than us having to like go back a little bit. Let's watch that scene again. What did he say there?
What's happening here? Yeah, we had to kind of pause and refresh for each other.
There's a lot of different factions and parties here, but I think overall this was an excellent movie.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think I just witnessed probably the best like shootout action scene I have ever seen.
This movie got real loud real fast.
It got intense.
Yes.
Seriously, that fucking shootout after the bank robbery, that is what I'm talking about.
There are some really long sequences in this movie with no dialogue.
Yeah.
And they're the most intense parts of this entire movie.
And I mentioned while we were watching it, it's like, damn, the pacing here seems to kind of slow down. And that was right before they were going to do their second heist, which didn't end up happening. I knew they were going to have this big thing happen. They're going to rob a bank. That's a pretty big deal. Mm-hmm. So we finally got there, kind of went off without a hitch while they were doing it. But at the end, wow. Like, I was tense. I was tensed up. My body would not let go.
The last scene of this movie in particular, I was so, like, tight.
The last scene at
so
LAX?
much tension, yes.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the shootout scene after the bank robbery.
Oh, yeah.
That right there, probably the best action scene like that I've ever seen.
It's really quality. And you're right. The pacing in this, it kind of is slow burn to start, amps it up.
Yeah.
Cools down, and just when you're about to start getting bored, they amp it back up again.
Yeah.
So yeah, the pacing is really good in this movie, and I was a little concerned because there's some moments, like I said, where it's like I'm just about to get bored, and then it got interesting again.
They brought you back in.
Yes, just when I think I'm out, they bring me back in.
That's a different movie.
Shut up! I can make all the references I want in this movie podcast.
Same actor, different movie.
That's right. Yeah, and we were not kidding about this is a movie full of actors you recognize.
Yeah.
Big and small.
There's a few that I didn't even know were in it.
Holy shit, we're sitting there minding our own business, and then fucking Henry Rollins?
Henry fucking Rollins is the banker's, like, muscle guy.
Yeah, he's just some thug.
Yeah.
But he's very young here.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know who Henry Rollins is, he was in, what would you call it,
he's in a punk band called Black Flag is what he is most known for.
Back in like the 80s, 90s.
Yes.
And then he kind of started doing these talking tours. Like, it's not comedy. It's It's just storytelling. He's had a really interesting life.
He has a very interesting career. Like, he started out in Black Flag. He did his own thing for a little while, but then he's also a very introspective person, as an individual. And he started writing books, and he started journaling, and he started doing all these things, and people really dug what he was doing.
Traveling the world.
And he's got so many stories of him just touring around with his bands over the decades.
And he's friends with everybody. He's friends with RuPaul, which is like the greatest thing.
He guest hosts on RuPaul's Drag Race.
This dude who is very like straight edge punk rock.
Right. He has told stories about the fact that he's been drunk like a couple of times, didn't like it, never did it again.
Yeah.
Never done any kind of drugs.
Nope.
Never been married. But yeah, we've actually seen his talking shows, as he calls it. I've seen him now 3 times. Betsy, you've seen him twice.
Yeah.
With me. So, dude is very impressive. And just to see him back in the mid-90s, trying out his acting thing.
This is probably one of his first acting roles,
It's one of his first. He was also in that Charlie Sheen movie, The Chase.
Really?
He plays a cop.
Oh, God. Okay. I've never seen that one either. So
I haven't seen it, but I'm very well aware of it.
Which is so funny because you, being a Henry Rollins fan, had no idea he was in this movie.
Not a clue. None. None.
I was just like, Jesus, it's Henry Rollins. We had to pause the movie to confirm that.
Yeah.
Speaking of other people who we had no idea, Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo.
Playing Trejo.
His
character's name is Trejo.
And I wonder if this is maybe one of his first things.
I think it must be, because we were talking about, you said the first thing you saw him in was like early 2000s.
It was Triple X in 03.
And the first thing I saw him in was Con Air.
Yeah.
So
late 90s.
Late 90s, 97, 98, whatever that came out. So again, very young. He has kind of a small role in this, but a pivotal one.
Yep.
Natalie Portman.
That was the person I was referring to in the intro, saying, I saw a scene with her with some preview somewhere. She's like a little teenager.
Yep.
And she's in this.
She shows up. Bud Cort.
And Bud Cort.
Bud Cort is in this movie.
The second appearance of Bud Cort in this podcast.
For reasons unbeknownst to us.
Yeah, Bud Cort is the shitty restaurant manager.
He's an asshole.
Yes.
And he is only there because there's kind of this... They introduce some different characters sort of out of sequence, and we don't know their relevance until later.
Right.
But he has an employee who is like recently paroled.
Right.
And what's his name? David Haysbert?
I don't know. I don't remember what his name is.
The guy with the voice.
He's the Allstate spokesman.
The guy who talks like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, you said you don't think you've ever seen him actually
I've never seen him act in anything.
But he came on screen and he opened his mouth and we were both like, oh, I know that voice.
Well, of course.
The Allstate guy is in this movie. Who else? Oh, McKelty Williamson. I think that's his name. He was Bubba in Forrest Gump.
As who? Who was he?
He was one of the other cops.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's just sort of, again, in the background.
Okay.
But I recognized him.
Mm-hmm. Tone Loc.
Tone Loc
makes
is in this movie. Again, talk about a voice that you immediately recognize, but you maybe don't know why.
Yeah, Tone Loc is Al Pacino's CI's like brother or cousin or something. So he's the guy he sits down with at the club.
Yep.
And gives him the info about Slick. That is Tone Loc of Funky Cole Medina fame.
And he made some movies in the 90s, and I think people forget about this, but he's actually pretty good at this.
Whatever, he's in one scene.
He's in one scene, but, if you didn't know that was Tone Loc, you just say, hey, that guy's all right.
Right.
But then you know it's Tone Loc, and you go, oh, dear. Why are you in this?
We also got Hank Azaria is in a few scenes here.
Very young, early
trying to
movie.
Do live action stuff.
Yes.
Because if you do not know, Hank Azaria is most famous for all of his Simpsons characters.
Which he would have been doing for years already at this point.
Yeah, he would have already been doing this for at least 5 years at this point.
But he wouldn't have made it into many movies.
No.
Because this is pre-Birdcage.
Yeah, he was still really trying to make it as an on-screen actor. Mm-hmm. He also made a short stint on Friends. He almost got the job of Joey?
One of the characters, yeah.
He went out for the cast of Friends as Joey, and he didn't get it, but he got a recurring guest appearance role.
Yeah, he ended up being on later.
Yeah. But he's the guy he's like the boyfriend of Ashley Judd.
Yep. And speaking of, Ashley Judd is in this movie.
Yeah.
And Amy Brenneman is in this movie. Who, again, this like predates her big TV show. Her big thing was judging Amy in the late 90s.
I don't think I've ever seen her in anything else.
I've seen her in a couple of things, but it was like the early 2000s, like movies around that time. Like the thing I know her from is the Jane Austen Book Club. Which is another one of those like movies that women like that's based on a book kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's romance.
It's very much a Betsy movie.
It's life, imitating art kind of a thing. And then, of course, we've got William Fichtner. I'm not exactly sure how to say his name. This is one of those guys that you don't know his name, but you 100% know his face.
I think the thing that most people will know him from is a very, very similar kind of a role. He was in The Dark Knight as the bank manager
in the opening scene.
And the opening scene where the bank is getting robbed by the Joker.
And that's it.
He's the guy who he puts the thing in his mouth, the gas can in his mouth.
Yep.
As he's walking away and pulls the string.
Yep.
That's him.
Isn't he also in Armageddon?
Yes. He's one of the astronauts that go up with the grunts.
He's one of the real deal astronauts.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the guy who gets the gun out of the case where what's his name says, "What are you doing with a gun and spice?" I will always say that line when I have an opportunity.
And then there's one other role that I don't know if you even know this. He is in a movie where you never see his face, but you hear his voice. And he plays the therapist in Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yes, I did know that.
Yeah. So you never see his face, but they're in a therapy session at the beginning of the movie and then at the end.
Yep.
And the two of them are facing the camera, and you don't see a man, you don't see a woman, you don't see anybody. You just hear a disembodied voice, and that is his voice. But he has one of those really distinct speaking voices that I was sitting there in the theater the first time I saw Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and I knew his voice. And I had to look him up afterwards. That's the guy. That's the friggin' guy. So this is a jam-packed movie. Like so many different actors that you have seen, large and small parts, a lot of character actors, but also a lot of heavy hitters, people who have gone on to have really substantial careers.
Totally. And there's a couple of like really minor things. We'll get off this topic here, but good God, like Betsy and I, because we've seen so many movies, we can just say, "Hey, it's that guy. Hey, it's that guy. Remember him from this?" One of them was Pacino's partner with kind of like very, very balding head.
Oh, with the mustache?
With the mustache, yeah.
Yep.
He's in the first Fast and the Furious movie.
Yes, he is.
It's Toretto, Brian. It's always been Toretto.
He's another one who usually plays a cop or an FBI agent.
He looks like a fucking cop.
Mm-hmm. He's been in a lot of things where he plays just sort of a smarmy asshole.
A cop.
A cop. And there's a lot of really interesting performances, a lot of interesting things happening in this movie. Of course, the dynamic is that Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Tom Sizemore, who we haven't mentioned up to this point, but
Tom Sizemore is kind of a nothing actor. He hasn't really done anything of consequence.
No,
you just know his name
and his face,
and that he's an actor.
Yep,
that's about it.
He usually plays a tough guy.
Sure,
but they're in this crew. It's the three of them are the core group with Danny Trejo, and they always work together. And then they occasionally bring in outside people
because they need one more man to do something
for whatever job they're doing.
Yeah.
And then we've got Al Pacino, who is the detective, who's like, what is it, the robbery and homicide?
Yeah, he's an LAPD detective who investigates robbery and homicide stuff. We are introduced to all of these different characters in their own way.
Yes.
And when we meet Pacino, he's fucking his wife.
Yes, he is. They are just making out.
Right. So, and this is where we also, a little bit later, get introduced to Natalie Portman, who is the stepdaughter of Al Pacino.
Yep, so she's like 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
She's a little teenager in this.
And she is a very needy teenager who is always talking about her dad.
Who we never meet.
He's
a piece of shit.
Of course, knowing movies, immediately assumed that her dad was actually one of the crew.
Which would make sense. I'm kind of glad he wasn't, but it could have been an interesting
I'm
way
glad
to
that this
it.
movie kept you guessing.
Yes.
Because there was one other moment where the audience was kind of faked out. At least I was faked out. It's when Pacino goes back to his apartment near the end of the movie, and he walks in. You saw all the water on the floor. I don't think he even noticed it when he walked in.
No, he just walked by, but I saw this big wet stain on the carpet. I was like, what the hell
and you
kind
just
of
figured,
shit motel
this is just some shit motel he's staying at because his wife kicked him out. Once he goes back, he looks in, and it's the camera's up at that angle where it's like underneath him, and he's like freaking. He opens it up, and his eyes go wide, and I figured it was going to be De Niro in there,
like just
waiting for him. Yeah,
I thought that, or I also
that
thought
would be the movie trope.
That maybe he got the other guy that he was looking for from the beginning, Wayne, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he got him and like stashed him in his hotel room somehow.
Okay.
Because of course they're scoping out this guy's hotel room.
Right.
They know where he is, and they're putting out feelers to lure this guy in.
Right.
Neil, so De Niro's character, and nothing is happening. Well, I figured, maybe nothing's happening because it already happened. He somehow like got in there and got him and dumped his body.
But no, it's the daughter who is very much looking for a cry for help.
Absolutely, yeah. She kind of throughout the movie says like she has kind of a meltdown over like little things.
She's looking for her little berets, and her mom doesn't know where they are, and they're not really paying attention to her.
And mom's not listening to me, and I want dad here, and I want it to be perfect.
But then like she has this weird hang up on her dad. Like she's almost scared of him. Like she doesn't even want to see him.
But she desperately wants to see him. Like, it's a whole... Like, she wants it to be perfect. Yeah. Like, she's very much about control. Right. And then, like, there's a later scene where she's just sitting alone on a bench and says, I wanted to be by myself for a while.
Sure.
So we don't really get a whole lot of development that leads to her cutting her own wrist.
Right. And that right there, I don't think was very earned as a storytelling thing.
We needed more.
We needed a little bit more for that to really...
If I got a director's cut of this...
There must have been other things in there with her.
Yeah, because there's just like a little bit of something that I would have liked that to be more developed, because it's shocking, but it doesn't feel necessary exactly for what's going on at this point in the movie. It's just something to have happen. And I don't know if it's just to demonstrate that he actually does really give a shit about his stepdaughter, even though they have firmly established he doesn't really give a shit about his wife or his marriage.
Yeah.
They keep saying how his whole thing is being a cop and being a detective.
It's the next thing that he's chasing.
And he cares more about that.
Yeah, it's the next thing that he's chasing. In his line of work, there's always something, especially in LA.
Absolutely.
So.
And they set it up with he's one character and De Niro's the other character, but it's that kind of a movie where they're the same. And that's the whole meat and potatoes of what this movie is.
You're never going to stop them, no matter what.
No, they are both driven.
A marriage and a child will not stop Pacino, and De Niro isn't going to stop what he's doing because he hasn't gotten what he's looking for yet.
Well, they're both the word is disciplined. He uses the word disciplined.
Yeah.
De Niro says they have a conversation with each other at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And they establish that they have the same drive, but Pacino's trying to have his cake and eat it too. So he's had 3 marriages, and they have all failed, including the 3rd one, which he is currently on. And he keeps trying, but he knows that his whole thing is his job.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
and he's good at it.
And he's very good at it. But then De Niro is literally willing to walk away from everything because that's the only way he survives. He is a lone wolf. He is the solo guy.
We even get some scenes here where, they're all going out to celebrate with all the wives and the kids. And there he is with an empty chair next to him.
Very symbolic.
He's got no one else to share things with.
By choice.
Right. And at the same time, speaking of that word, Pacino's wife says, "You never share with me. I want you to share in your collective trauma that I know that you're going through."
Yeah, unload some of that you're holding so tight to.
Right, and Pacino just comes out and says, you don't really want me to tell you about the baby that I found microwaved because it was crying too much, do you?
Yeah, it's
That's
like really fucked up stuff he deals with.
Right.
And yes.
And he doesn't want to bring it home, and that's understandable. But your wife wants to support you. You need to let her do that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the two paths that you can take.
Yeah, the dynamic between these two people are really, really good. Now,
this is why I really want to watch this again, just to see, because there's clearly going to be a lot of parallels and intentional things about these two characters, because they have mutual respect for each other. Like when they have their scene together, they say, you know, if I got to take you down, I'm not going to like it, but I'm going to do my job. Right. And then he says, there's another side to that coin. I might have to take you down. Yep. And then they end the conversation and they both just have a little smirk. Mm-hmm. They both just have the tiniest little crack of a smile.
That was a really great scene.
Absolutely.
But think about this, Betsy. For a movie that is like all over the place with advertising saying, De Niro and Pacino finally at it again, they're on screen together like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Out of almost a 3-hour movie.
They're in the same space, but like one of them's in a truck observing the other. One of them is on top of a building observing the other.
You don't need to have them on screen at the same time.
No, but when they're together.
But when they're together, it's fucking magic.
I get why they keep using these two in movies together. Yeah. And this one right here, this is like the sweet spot. Because they're not young and hot-headed anymore, but they're not old and crotchety like they are now. Because
I don't know about hot-headed with Pacino. We'll get there.
Okay, we've talked about it before, though. Like when they're old, Al Pacino is basically a parody of himself now.
Yeah.
And De Niro is just this old man shuffling around.
Yeah.
And this is like young-ish. They're like middle-aged. So Pacino, I don't know how old he was, but I looked it up and De Niro was like 52.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie. Okay, this is a weird thing for me to say that I never thought I'd say.
Oh, no.
He's kind of hot in this movie. I don't know what it is, but he looks really good in this movie.
All right.
Maybe it's the suits. Maybe it's the like, you know, he's refined enough, but he hasn't tilted all the way to being an old man yet.
All right.
But I was just like, dang, he looks pretty good in this, which I never really thought I would say about Robert De Niro
and you know
past maybe 1978.
He's got the little bit of the gray in there.
Yeah. He looks like just refined enough that, you know, if you're into older men, like, and maybe it's just because I'm now 37 that my eye is turned. But not anymore. Like present day Robert De Niro, he's way too old for me. He's an old man.
Speaking of, let's just have a little aside
Story
time. Betsy and I took a vacation a few years ago to New York City.
We did do that.
In our travels, we booked a couple of tickets to go see a couple of late shows because, hey, we like the late night talk shows.
Yes, we do.
We went to see Seth Meyers first on one day. That was really cool. We got to see, who did we see? We saw
Tracy Morgan was
Tracy
there.
Morgan and some NBC News guy called Willie Geist. Mm-hmm. And then we went to see Stephen Colbert the next day.
We did.
And it was a very different experience because Seth Meyers is up at 30 Rockefeller Center, a much nicer and bigger building. When we went over to see Stephen Colbert, this is a very old theater.
We were corralled.
We were very much corralled in this place that was like freezing cold because the air conditioner was right on top of us, all kind of sandwiched in together in this entryway.
We're wearing hoodies in the middle of spring.
It was April.
April,
yeah. It was April, yeah. And as we got into the place, we ended up getting a pretty good seat. We were near the aisle, and you know, Steven comes out. They do the show. They kind of tell everybody how things are going to go.
We knew who the guests were going to be.
We knew it was going to be. It was going to be like Laurie Metcalf.
Cage the Elephant.
Cage the Elephant was going to do a performance. And a comedian named Rami Youssef. He had his Hulu show coming out.
Yep.
But then, kind of halfway between, Steven comes out and says, so we're going to have another guest here, and this isn't going to be on tonight's show, but when in the course of things, when somebody happens to be in town, we like to record an interview with this person.
Because it works for their schedule.
They just happen to be in town. We want to have them on the show for maybe a day or two from now. It just kind of works out for the continuity. Who cares? And he says, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but you're going to know who it is.
And yeah, they come back from the quote commercial break.
Yep.
And he says, oh, this person is an Academy Award winner. And we go, what?
And we just like tense up.
What? So this person is clearly very famous. Okay. And they started the Tribeca Film Festival. And we're like, what? And ladies and gentlemen, it's Robert De Niro. And let me tell you, that room exploded.
The place went fucking nuts.
I'm just like minding my own business, and fucking Robert De Niro comes out on stage, and everyone in that theater leapt up onto their feet and was screaming and applauding. And let me tell you, my little heart just was like so excited. Like, he is by far the biggest celebrity we have ever seen in the flesh.
Yes.
So yeah, that's and then we got to see him, and he came out and he talked about something. I don't even remember.
He did his interview with Steven. He went on his way.
Yeah.
That was it.
And that was it.
I don't even remember what he was there to promote. I guess it was just the Tribeca stuff.
I was so overwhelmed by him being in the same room unexpectedly. Yep. I kind of forgot the whole rest of the experience.
Well, and by the way, at the very end, Steven came out to the audience, and the camera was on him, and we were on TV for like half a second.
We were behind him. Yeah, so there you go. Story time.
Little story.
Absolute segue. But whenever we see Robert De Niro, it's always like, hey, remember when we saw him?
I did it while we were watching the movie.
Yeah, we didn't meet him or anything. We were, a good 100 feet away from him.
We also saw a couple of other people just kind of on the street. They were doing some filming for an HBO show.
Yeah, we saw Nicole Kidman. I manifested her. I said, I want to see a celebrity when we're in New York. And we just happened to be on the right street at the right time. Right. Weird stuff.
I think Hugh Grant was also there, but we didn't
see Hugh Grant. We were pretty sure we saw Donald Sutherland, though.
Yeah.
We saw a very tall man with white
man.
hair.
Yeah.
So we sort of assumed that. It was for that show, whatever that show was called.
It's an HBO show. It came out recently. It doesn't matter.
The Undoing, wasn't that it?
I don't remember. But the only reason I recognized what it was is because I saw one of the crew members, they had a radio on their hip, and it had a little sticker on it with the name of the show.
Yep.
I looked up the name of the show on IMDb, and sure enough, that was the name of the show.
And it was like 2 years later.
It was a while later.
We had to wait a long time for that damn show that we heard about.
And we never watched.
We didn't. A lot of people did, though. Anyway,
sure.
We are completely off the rails now. Let's go back to Heat.
All right. So let's at least talk about the 3 heists that they were going to do here. We're not going to go through the entire thing because this is a 3-hour movie.
Just about.
Go and find the movie and watch it. Thankfully, I had a copy of this from a long time ago. I don't think this is actually streaming anywhere.
Not currently.
But it is actually coming out on 4K in the next month.
Hell yeah!
Yeah. So go and get the disc if you're really curious. Anyway. So we start the movie out, and the crew is collecting things for the first heist.
They're getting in position. Yeah. They're getting ready.
De Niro is getting a ambulance. He's stealing an ambulance for a getaway vehicle later on. We got Val Kilmer going to a construction explosives depot.
I guess. He's buying explosives. Yeah. He's the blow-up guy.
Right. He's the demo guy.
Yeah.
We got, is it Danny Trejo? We don't see until later.
He shows up a little later. He's kind of the guy watching the radio, listening to the radio, the police scanner.
Yeah.
And then Tom Sizemore is driving a big semi/tow truck, and he picks up the other dude who is just, I don't know, the gunman? I don't know what he is or why they need him.
I referred to him in my notes as the new guy, because clearly he's new.
He doesn't really need to be there other than we need him for the plot later.
We need him.
He is there to move the plot forward.
He's Mr. Plot Device.
So yeah, they knock over this armored truck. Literally turn it on its side and blow up the bottom. And they're trying to find something specific. So they're like fishing through all of the stuff inside.
Well, and before that, to get into the armored truck, the explosives dude, Val Kilmer, uses this thing that is like, it's even more than an explosive because it blows out all of the windows of the cars nearby, and it blows out the ears of all of the people inside.
Well, that would be any explosive if you were inside.
True, but this was like extremely violent.
Yeah, this is some high-grade shit.
Yeah.
But it's common. It's like stuff they use in construction sites.
Sure.
For really
it's specialized.
Refined, like, I just want to blow up this specific area.
Sure. So, yeah, they get everybody outside. They line them up in front of the armored car. They have 3 minutes in order to do it.
And they're clocking it.
And they're clocking it because they know what the response time is for that particular precinct, things like that. So, yeah, they go in and they're rifling through all of the documents and whatever else that they have in there.
Whatever's been picked up.
And they're not going after cash. There's no cash in there very
or
much
if there
anyway.
is, they're not taking it.
They're not going
interested.
after the cash, yeah. They're going after this paperwork, these bonds.
Yeah, bearer bonds. $1.6 million
right.
from a specific individual.
Right, and this individual is a guy we're going to meet later, but he does like money laundering for drug dealers.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it all kind of goes wrong because these dudes, these armored truck drivers, are all kind of just, one of them is staring down the new guy.
Yeah, one of them is kind of squirrely.
Yeah.
And he's staring down the new guy. And the new guy just hauls off and shoots him.
And then it turns into a bloodbath and they kill all 3 of them.
Right.
But it's like assassin style for the third one. They 2 in the chest and 1 in the head kind of a thing.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, we established very early in this movie that these guys know what they're doing, how to do it, and to get away clean. Like, they came prepared. They had every exit within a quarter mile. They had it planned out. They had the right equipment. They had the right people. They made a quick decision and followed through with it.
Right.
They had the... what is it? The tracks to blow up the tires. I don't know what you call that
spike
thing.
Strips.
The spike strips.
Yeah.
They had those ready because they knew the cops are most likely going to come from that direction and chase us. And they get away with it.
Yeah.
But of course, that's what gets Pacino on the case because now he is looking for the people responsible.
Yeah, and he shows up and just kind of cases everything, and he's got it down.
He's
like,
observant and smart.
This is exactly what happened here, and this is what happened here, and they killed this guy a few minutes later because, well, they killed the other 2. Why not? Why leave one witness if you kill the other 2?
And look at the style of which they were killed. Like, this guy was crouched down.
This guy was sloppy. This guy was executed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can tell the difference. And of course, that guy ends up getting away when they tried to give him what for.
Right. Yeah.
You don't get to pull some shit like that with professionals and live to tell the tale.
Right.
Like, they were literally going to load him up in the trunk of a car that's already pre-lined
with a body bag.
With a body bag, but he gets away because there's too many like cops crawling around.
Right.
And that comes back to bite him in the ass later in the movie. But yeah, so these guys are professionals. They're really smart. Al Pacino's professional and really smart. They kind of manage to cross paths enough, they get enough details that they sort of make a educated guess that where they're going to hit for the second heist is like a platinum something.
I don't know what they do there, but
something
everything is
platinum.
Safe. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to knock it over and it's been robbed a few times.
Yeah, but these guys have connections to this stuff. So they kind of know the ins and outs of the place, and it should be an easy in and out job. But we get to that point, and by then, Al Pacino has gotten himself some information. He's been shaking down his CIs. He's been because these guys he knows are really good at what they do.
They've ID'd one of the guys, and that IDs another one, and they don't know who Robert De Niro is, but they know Val Kilmer and they know Tom Sizemore.
Yeah,
and so they are there waiting for them, and once again, the cops sort of fuck things up for themselves because they're trying to catch them in the act. Like, they want them to come out of that building with stuff in hand, and that's when they're going to bust them. Yeah,
they're staking out the door, and they've got, like, this weird infrared camera trying to identify stuff. Yeah. So one of the cops inside of the stakeout vehicle makes a mistake, and he's got his gun on his back, and it like clangs against the metal wall.
They're all sitting inside big moving trucks.
Yeah, and De Niro is outside, and he hears something going on there, and there shouldn't be any kind of metal on metal action inside that thing. So he decides to pull the plug and say, drop it, let's get out of here.
Yep.
Now.
And then Pacino says, what are we going to get him for breaking and entering? They
Right.
haven't taken anything. Let him walk.
He knows how this entire thing is going to go out. Because if they get busted for anything, it is for minor stuff. They're just going to get out in 3 to 6 months and go back to doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. But of course,
nothing.
That's enough for them to get suspicious and realize the cops are onto them.
They
Hence,
know.
the heat is on, Trent. The heat. They start using the word heat a lot in this movie about this point.
Yes, they do.
That's the name of the movie.
So yeah, they have a little meeting next to a thing that looks like a bunch of big-ass spark plugs.
Yeah, giant electric
It looks like an
facility.
electrical plant, yeah. But yeah, they basically say, assume that everything is fucked. Assume that they have this entire thing bugged. That
They are following us. They have
know
your phone.
They know where you live. They know you're tapping your phone. Everything.
They're tracking your every
so
move.
they turn into very paranoid mode, and he puts it out there saying, "I'm okay with walking away from this next job because their next job is going to be huge.
Yep.
They're going to knock over a bank."
Well, no, they say they're going to do it, but after that, they say the risk and the reward balance out for this particular job. They could
Right.
walk away before they ever do it,
Right.
but they decide this is like a $12 million score,
Yeah.
and this is what they live for, and they all need that money, and they want that money, and they get greedy.
Yeah, and like if Val Kilmer, it's revealed that he has a gambling problem.
Yep, and
he
his
said,
marriage is
he said
falling apart.
Between Vegas and the Super Bowl, they say both things. He's got no money left.
Yeah. Yep. So all of their jobs that they have done, he's got nothing to show for it.
Right.
So he needs that money. And De Niro basically says, after this one, I'm out.
Yeah.
One last job.
One last
Hashtag
one last job.
It's always the story, and that's where it always goes wrong, you guys. But he's like, scheming with his girlfriend. I'm going to New Zealand, and you should come with me, kind of a thing.
Right.
So their big job at the end of the movie, somebody tips them off that there's going to be there's a bank, but what is it? It's like a specialty bank or something where all the payroll comes into this distribution center, basically.
It's a bank hub.
Yeah.
So a lot of the different places, they bring in their cash, bring in their whatever to deposit into their accounts, because payroll goes out on Friday.
From that source.
And they have to have all their cash in that bank so that all the payroll checks can go out on Friday. Mm-hmm. So everything gets put in there like the day before. And this tech guy who Robert De Niro meets is saying, yeah, there's all sorts of different security here, but I know how to get around it.
I've got it all planned.
You go in the day before, you access this panel here, you plug in my little specialized chip into the board, and it will disable the alarms for the time in which you are there.
Mm-hmm. They'll go off 20 minutes before you even get in the door.
Yeah.
And yeah, they go in. This is so interesting. They do not go in with any sort of disguise. They're just nameless, faceless dudes, because I think that's the thing. These guys are so smart, they realize if you are not doing anything suspicious, no one will ever look at your face.
No.
No one gives a shit.
No.
Everyone is so engrossed with whatever they're doing, they just want to get in the bank, do their shit, and go home.
Right.
And they've been waiting in line, and they're grumpy, and they don't care. Mm-hmm. So they literally walk in. The only thing suspicious about them is they have gloves on.
Yeah.
And then they start putting on masks and shooting the place up.
Well, actually, no, they don't.
They start screaming anyway.
They start screaming at people. They basically say, De Niro gets up there and says, "We're here for the bank's money. We're not here for your money. Your money is insured by the U.S. government," which is true.
Yep.
If your bank, even your branch bank, gets robbed, you're fine.
Don't worry about it, guys.
Don't worry about it. Your money isn't just stacked up in cash over here. No, there's an insurance. That's what FDIC is.
Maybe your banks have been robbed. Maybe your money has been robbed before. But you think they're actually going to tell you that?
No.
No, they're just going to get the insurance and move on.
Exactly.
Though I don't think people actually rob too many banks in this modern age.
Yeah, they do, but
they don't
always
get away with it.
There's so much stuff these days that just prevents people from being able to get away with it all the way. Like
they might get off with the money.
Yeah, you're gonna get out there, and you're gonna have that ink pack in the bottom of the bags go off for you.
Or there's tracers, or there's
like cash,
labeled money. They have the coding and they can track it.
All that stuff is tracked like crazy. Right. So yes, not a lot of bank robberies anymore. No, the real robbery these days is crypto, but we're not going to get into that. Yes, they go in. Robert De Niro has his little speech. Val Kilmer goes back there and gets all the money, puts all the very, very heavy money into these sacks.
Bricks and bricks into big duffel bags. Yeah, that shit would be so heavy.
Heavy.
These three dudes are each carrying one of these heavy-ass bags.
Think about how heavy, like a ream of paper that you put into like a laser printer. Think about like 12 of those.
Or like a box, if you've ever just carried a box of printer paper.
Yeah.
This is bigger than that. And that's what it is. It's paper in big stacks.
And that paper is heavier than regular paper. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these dudes pack it all up. They just stroll outside, put on their sunglasses, walk out the front door.
They go out one by one because there's no alarms going off.
Nope.
And you have to leave somebody in there to keep control of everybody else.
And again, nobody is going to give a shit outside the building unless you're doing something suspicious.
Yeah.
And these are just three dudes in suits walking to a car.
Yep. With a duffel bag.
Yeah. Calmly, collected.
Yep.
No running, no yelling, no firing. It looks like
nobody shot any guns inside the bank.
Nope.
A couple of people got punched. Like the bank manager, he goes up to him and says, "Give me the key." "What key? What are you talking about?"
Dumbass.
"Oh, just give me the fucking key." Punch.
Yeah, and then he takes it anyway.
Yeah.
Just hand him the key.
Yeah. So you're not being a fucking hero, dude.
No, you are not. But they get away with it. They get in the car, but somewhere along the way, the cops get a tip. So there's this whole thing with the bearer bonds where they took the bearer bonds from this bank dude who, like you said, is like funneling money for criminals.
Yeah.
He gets a tip from Wayne, the guy at the beginning of the movie who got away.
Yeah, new guy.
He roughs up Danny Trejo for information, and they all tip off the cops who are there while it's going down.
Yeah, and Pacino and his crew get there right as they're leaving.
As they're getting in the car, but Val Kilmer spots them,
Yeah.
and everything opens fire. Everybody starts shooting at everybody.
And Betsy, this was... Okay, I've mentioned this before in this podcast. We've already mentioned Collateral, also made by Michael Mann.
Yes.
The guns here are super loud.
It gets so loud.
And like we've got a pretty damn good like audio system here. Like, good God, it just got into your chest.
You could feel it
in
your body.
I think that is what Michael Mann does best, because in Collateral, at the very end of that movie, when Tom Cruise is going after the other guy, he shoots his guns inside of an office complex, and it's loud just like that.
There's glass and explosions and
That's real shit.
Yeah,
it's
he
not
uses
live
real
rounds.
guns.
It's not live rounds, but this is real guns.
Yeah, so I would be willing to bet you are right. Yeah, if he did it in Collateral, logic dictates he did it in this movie because it is so loud and aggressive.
And there's so much of it.
The number of bullets they had to go through filming this.
Look at the characters. They have like the magazines like strapped to their chest.
Yes, they do.
They have so many bullets here.
And they just keep unloading in every direction. And the cops are firing back. And people are dropping to the ground. The number of cops are taken out in this battle.
Yeah.
And... Val Kilmer gets shot in the shoulder.
Yep.
And Tom Sizemore gets completely taken out.
Yeah.
He's finally caught in like a corner, and Al Pacino gets behind him.
Well, he grabs a little girl and is like holding her as a human shield. But Pacino gets the drop on him.
Yep.
And
So it just goes to hell very, very quickly. And they get away. So Val Kilmer and Robert De Niro get away with a couple bags of money, but not before their getaway driver is killed and the tires get shot out and they have to have a big gunfight.
Right. And we didn't even say that the Allstate guy gets recruited from the diner that he's working
that day,
because Danny Trejo calls him up and says, "Hey, I can't go. I got cops all over me."
Yeah, I can't shake them.
Yeah.
Except I think it's that thing where he... Do you think it was that he couldn't shake them or that he was being shaken down himself?
He was being shaken down.
Already?
That was a lie.
Okay. Yeah, we don't see any of that, so it's easy to kind of try to figure that out.
I mean, you can take it either way.
That thing where it's like, wait, what's going on?
Right.
Because De Niro
is there something happening here?
He immediately says, who wasn't there?
Right.
It was Trejo.
Right.
But then he goes and his wife has been murdered and he's laying on the ground all bloodied up.
Fuck out of him.
Yeah. And so we kind of figure out who the players are and what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this movie at this point and I was like, this is that thing that I think in particular Michael Mann is really good at. He does a lot of these like cops and robbers kind of movies where you feel empathetic for the quote bad guys.
Yeah.
And at this point in the movie, I was like, I want them to get away with it. I want them to get away with it.
Yeah.
But that's never how these things go. He's really good at anti-heroes.
Yeah. Like the Tom Cruise character is an empathetic character to a point.
To a point. He's a piece of shit.
Oh, he's terrible.
He's a monster.
He is so good at his job, though. And these guys are so good at their job.
Yes, they're very charismatic and smart.
And you get to see a little bit of their personal lives, too. Mm-hmm. Like, you see
them
going
guys.
out. You see them going out to dinner with their wives.
Buying them gifts, and they have marriage problems, and they've got kids, and they just have like a family dinner together, like out at a restaurant, the crew and the wives.
Right.
And they all know, every one of those women knows exactly who they are and what they do.
Sure.
But yeah, at the end of this movie, I'm like hoping they'll get away with it. But De Niro gets away. Chris, Val Kilmer's character, gets shot up, but he survives.
Yeah.
And he's actually the only one that makes it out of this movie, presumably alive. So I want to talk about this for a second. So his wife basically wants out of the whole situation, the life, the works. And the only way she can do that is by working with the cops.
Yeah.
So he shows up, and this whole movie he's had long hair, but he gets out of the car to see her, and his hair's all gone. He's changed his look. Mm-hmm. And that is the 1995 Val Kilmer I remember because this is the same year he made Batman.
Oh, shit.
Batman Forever was also 1995.
No shit. Oh, wow.
So this is like very key time in his career. And that's the guy when he got out of the car. There's like, that's the dude I recognize. The wig was not good. He looked a little bit ridiculous most of this movie.
I mean, I just figured that it was, okay, that's after a very long stint of him having like long blonde hair.
Yes, true. But yeah, he goes to see his wife and she gives him a signal basically like, get away. Don't come in here.
Like she just kind of uses the fingers like, walk away.
Yep.
Walk away.
Yep.
Don't do it.
And he gets it. He gets away, but the cops like stop him. Now this is interesting. So they stop him at an intersection and they check his ID and the registration and everything and they say this is all clean and he gets away. Do you think that is because they have doctored all these documents or because he had a fake name and Chris is not his real name?
Right. I think that's probably true. We could have stopped at the very beginning of the movie when he's buying the explosives because he showed his ID.
He did.
And whether or not that was a fake ID or a real ID, who knows?
Because, he could be going under an alias this entire time. And when he gives his ID to the cops, that's his real identity.
That could be real, yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting question.
And like this person who he's showing hasn't probably shown up on any kind of radar because he has all these aliases.
Yeah, he doesn't work under his real name. He works under Chris.
Right.
They don't say this explicitly, but there's enough evidence here to support that might be what's going on. Because how else does he just get to drive away? And he goes off into the sunset. We don't see him again. Right.
Well, and for these things, like Nate, the John Voight character.
Who we didn't even mention him to this point.
Right. He's like the guy who was like arranging all this stuff.
He's the fixer.
He's like getting all of these jobs together. He's putting you in touch with these people who are going to give you the tools in order to get the stuff done.
He's moving the merchandise. He's the
facilitator,
you've got it.
Right?
He's the facilitator.
But yeah, it's very possible that he had this identity set for him as his out.
Maybe.
So it's very possible that all of that is legit. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking that it is a legit thing. It may or may not be his real name, though.
Right. Yeah, it's an interesting question. It's a little moment in the movie, but he gets away, and he's the only one who does.
Right.
Because, of course, then we see De Niro, who has been, shacking up with this lady, and he basically is feeling things for this woman, and He's about to get away. They've made all the arrangements. She's coming with him. She has decided to go with him. They're going to live happily ever after.
And we keep on yelling at the screen, walk away, lady. Just walk away. You do not want this.
She should not be involved with this man. But, she doesn't know who he is or what he is.
Right.
He tells her his real name, but says, I'm a salesman. That's what he tells her. He also says he's from the Bay Area. Robert... Forget about it,
De Niro.
I clearly am from New York, De Niro. He's from the Bay Area. So it's just like, I don't know how much he's telling her the truth and how much he's just feeding her lines.
Well, I just figured when we were just kind of introduced to her that everything he's saying is a lie. I mean, most of it is a lie because of what he does.
Right.
And we assume that that's his real name.
He gives her grains of truth, though.
Sure.
But yes, he is referred to as Neil throughout the movie, so I assume that he at least gave her a real name.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is gonna leave with her, and just as they're like in the car and they're going to the airport, he gets a call from Jon Voight who says, oh, by the way, that guy you were looking for, I know where he is, but I don't think you'd be interested in that. And he's like, you're right, I'm getting out. But then he's in the car and he's doing that thing where he's thinking about it and he's thinking about it.
And he swerves.
And he takes the exit and he gets him. But it's just like, nope. He couldn't help himself. He had to go and get the closure.
He had a good plan.
He did.
But he didn't count on Pacino being there.
Nope, the cops get there. So yeah, he's about to get out. Pacino sees this woman waiting in the car.
By herself.
Because he's really smart and observant. He's a detective.
He also mentions to him during their little coffee break that, I got a woman.
He got a woman, yeah. So she's looking around, anxious, and everybody else is running around because there's a fire alarm, so they think they have to evacuate the building. And she's, meanwhile, sitting very still in a running vehicle. So he figures out very quickly who this is. And De Niro sees him, and he does the thing. He looks at him, he looks at her, he looks at him, he looks at her, and he does exactly the thing he said he would do in that situation. He walks. Yeah. He gives up everything because it is a discipline for him. This is the life I've chosen, and I will not get held back by a woman, a wife, friends. I will leave you in the dust if it means my own survival. He is the lone wolf. That's another thing. Michael Mann, the lone wolf stuff. Like, that's all very metaphorical and literal in his movies. I would really like to compare this and Collateral sometime, but that's a different topic for a different day. And then there's this sequence where Pacino is dead sprinting after Robert De Niro, who's dead sprinting. They run a lot. And they're right by the airport because this hotel is by the airport. Yeah. And they're out on the tarmac, like hiding behind things, and they're in the dark and they're in the light, and there's a lot of shadows.
LAX.
And it's just really tense, and some shit is gonna go down. There's only gonna be one of these guys coming out of this.
One guy is going to walk away from this, and you don't know who. Because they have set this movie up in a way that either one of them could have walked away.
And you want
and been justified in doing so.
You want them both to win, and you want them both to lose.
Yes.
That is the magic of this pairing in this movie. Like, it's really well executed.
Yes.
And, of course, De Niro loses. He gets shot the hell up.
Yep.
But, Al Pacino has fucking respect for this man.
Yep.
And De Niro says, I told you I'm not going back to prison. I'm not going back.
That's right.
And he puts up his hands, and I was like, they're going to hold hands, aren't they? Sure enough, they have like a bro moment where he puts up his hand, he's bleeding and dying, and Pacino just holds his hand tight, and they just stand there in silence until he's dead.
Yeah.
Like, that's such like a... It's an interesting thing in movies like this because this is such like a dude movie.
It's very a dude movie.
There's something really interesting about taking these really masculine men and having this like
this tender moment.
Tender, like, I got you, bro. You're my brother and I love you and respect you kind of moment.
Sure.
It's the sort of like taking down the machismo and people could connect with their sensitive side.
It's the end of the movie. You're all emotional from the roller coaster that you were just on, and you have this release.
Yes, you do. And then it's just over.
Yeah.
The movie's just over.
Yep.
So it's a lot about these two similar characters, and they're just powerhouse actors. at the top of their game.
Yeah.
This is a solid script, a solid plot. I have very few problems with it. And I think, again, if I just rewatch this movie, I could digest it more. And now that I know what to expect, this is probably going to grow on me.
I think you're right. I think for me to really appreciate a movie, I have to see it more than once. But this movie has left such an impression on me because of how it is executed at the end. The last half of the movie cooks. The first half of the movie, I'm taking everything in. The pacing is actually okay because they give you a little bit.
Yes.
They give you a couple of the heists. They get the good character work. They get the good acting. You have the little fake out with the second heist that doesn't actually go anywhere. And then you have the big shootout that just gets you all amped up. Mm-hmm. And you want to know what happens next. And like you said, we were in a little bit of a lull after that, and then it ramps up for one last finale, and it's over.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're just left exhausted because it's a 3-hour fucking movie, and there's a whole lot that happens.
Speaking of things that happen, because I don't want to forget to talk about this before we wrap this up, I know you really want to talk about Al Pacino in this movie.
Yes. So Al Pacino, I know these couple of things just from other things, other references, and people have clipped these and like sent them around. But it's Pacino being Pacino.
He is really
doing his barking and doing his yelling.
He is this is quintessential Pacino.
Yeah.
He just goes to 11 out of nowhere.
Right, and it's all happening pretty much in the first half of the movie. The first couple of times is when he's like visiting his CI and just yelling MFers all over the place.
Yep.
And it's like, no, don't waste my motherfucking time.
Oh, he's gonna see me tomorrow.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm Al Pacino.
Give me all you got. Give me all you got.
Yeah, just screaming.
Oh my God, dude, I'm right here. You don't have to yell.
He's across the table. He is as far from you as Trent is from me right now.
Oh God. And then of course, it's the famous scene with him and Hank Azaria where he's interrogating him in Vegas.
Yep.
Because Hank Azaria like works in Vegas, I guess.
He goes back and forth Vegas to LA.
Sure.
And he's been shacking up with Chris's
Ashley
wife.
Judd. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like he's saying something about, yeah, you got this woman. She's got a great ass. And I just, oh my God. And like, your head is all the way up there. And it's, Jesus Christ, man.
He's just screaming. It's the way he says, great ass.
Right. And apparently that was not called for in the script. That was not supposed to happen.
Like, was Hank that dialogue?
Hank Azaria has told stories about this scene.
Okay.
That was not how it was supposed to go. But they kept it in the movie anyway. And I think if you look at Hank Azaria, because your eyes are just on Pacino, if you look at Hank Azaria in the film, he's like reacting to what he is doing. I think he's actually scared because he's not expecting his Al Pacino bark.
If you have never worked with Al Pacino and Al Pacino unexpectedly turns into Al Pacino, you too would be scared.
Yeah.
I would be scared.
Yeah.
If he just started up in my face like that, yeah, I would also react the way he did.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of Pacino movies, and I think the one that really got me was when I watched Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yep.
Now,
you love
Betsy
that movie.
and I have talked about Glengarry so many times. It is my kind of movie because it is all dialogue.
It's a play.
And it is just a play.
It is a play that they adapted for the screen.
There's like 3 settings in the entire movie. There's only like 5-6 characters.
But there's like powerhouse actors delivering this insane amount of dialogue.
It is such a great movie, beginning to end. And Al Pacino has some of the best, like, individual monologues of just dialogue straight. And I cannot believe that this was just off the top of his head.
Yeah, he's just kind of riffing.
He's just riffing. And he's a salesman. He's a real estate salesman in that movie. And he's going through his entire thing. It's very matter of fact. And yeah, he's just great.
And he's good in this movie too. It's
really
so
is.
weird for a guy like this who is known for being so over the top, who's also really good at subtlety. How can
like,
you be
the
both?
scenes of him with him and his wife and the kid? Yeah, he's just a regular dude there.
And then like he comes home and his wife has deliberately fucked some guy just to get his attention,
Right.
and he's sitting there, and you'd expect him to explode, and he's like, I'm angry.
I'm angry.
And you can fuck my wife.
Yeah,
and you can sit there on the couch.
Sitting there on the couch.
But you cannot watch my TV.
You cannot watch my television set.
So yeah, he goes to 11. I just remembered there's another actor we haven't mentioned. Jeremy Piven.
Jesus, yeah.
Jeremy
what the
Piven
fuck
is
was
in
Jeremy
this
Piven
movie.
doing in this?
He is the doctor who like stitches Val Kilmer up.
Yeah, at the very end, he has hair.
He is very
everywhere.
Young.
He's very young
Takes
with a
off his
mustache.
shirt. He gives him the shirt off his back.
Because De Niro's going to give him a pile of money.
Well, and his is covered in blood.
That too.
So yeah, it's so weird. Just you're minding your own business and Jeremy Piven's there.
No one wants that.
No one wants that.
Well, anything else, Betsy, before we wrap this up?
I mean, again, I want to watch this again and look for all the metaphors and things like that. The one I noticed was like when he goes to see Danny Trejo, he is in this house on the side of the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
And it's on stilts. And
Right.
De Niro lives on this house on the water that I assume
Yeah.
is also on stilts. These are metaphorical houses built on stilts that could fall apart at any time.
It's true. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And like a lot of this stuff is, again, I mentioned it in the intro. They took so much into the Grand Theft Auto 5 from this movie. It is all sorts of different kinds of characters. It is the veteran who's been doing it forever. They've got the fucking crazy guy who will just go off like, that will just go off.
The live wire, the hothead.
Yeah.
The loose cannon.
Right. And they recruit this young kid to bring in to help him out. They've got like the Hollywood Hills stuff all up in here. Yeah, it's really crazy how much they took from that.
I believe it.
But, all right. Well, that's going to be all we have to say about Heat.
Because I think
today.
we could probably keep talking a lot about
Right.
this, so we're going to stop ourselves while we're ahead.
Yeah. So we've got one email to read from Stephanie about The Other Guys, which we just watched. From Stephanie, I have only seen this once. I remember it being funny, and also that there were just a ton of people in it. Correct. I love Michael Keaton in most things, this included. I just never really felt the urge to watch this movie again. I like most Adam McKay movies, but this one just doesn't stand out. Fair. Like we said, it's very much at the kind of the bottom of the Adam McKay list.
And it's right in between him doing really goofy shit and him doing biting satire.
Exactly.
And he can't quite stick the landing because he's doing a little bit of both in this one.
Yeah. And then she says, earlier this week, we watched Con Air.
Hey!
A movie we have both seen.
We were just talking about that.
Just talking about Con Air. This movie is delightfully bad. Maybe my favorite bad movie. Not sure if I ever mentioned this, but at our extended family Easter party, we had a cornhole tournament. We came in third, by the way. Our team name was Corn Air.
Oh, God.
And I made t-shirts. See attached pictures. Love you guys. Great episode as always. And yes, just to explain it to the listeners at home, we have Nick Cage in his tank top holding a bunny.
Which, if you've seen Con Air, he's bringing a bunny rabbit stuffed toy to his daughter.
Right.
He's been in prison her entire life.
Right.
And there's the famous line, "Put the bunny back in the box." It's ridiculous. And yes, I don't know, he's holding some papers in this picture.
I don't really know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
I've only seen Con Air once, so...
Maybe it's his discharge papers, because he's like in the military in the movie.
Who knows? But it's also him like waving his hair in the wind.
Freedom. Sweet freedom. Yes, Con Air
excellent
is a
pictures.
Ridiculous, absurd movie. If you want to talk about a star-studded event, it's every weird character actor.
And that's a Bruckheimer picture, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got fucking John Cusack. You got Dave Chappelle. Is in this movie. Yeah. You have Nicolas Cage. You have John Malkovich. You have Steve Buscemi. We have Danny Trejo, who we just mentioned. And a ton more that I'm completely forgetting about. So yeah, if you like just stupid action movies, definitely watch Con Air.
And that's a stupid one.
Oh, it's so dumb. I love it. I love it so much.
It's really good, though.
But thank you, Stephanie, for the email.
Of
and
course.
the visual aid of that ridiculous t-shirt.
Yes. We should make t-shirts.
We really should.
Yes. Anyway, that is going to be the end of the show. If you want to email us, the email address is neverseenitpod@gmail.com. Tell us about your family Easter things. Follow us on Twitter, neverseenit_pod. Tweet at us your thoughts and feelings and your hopes and dreams and desires. It's only 280 characters, so keep it short. If you want to support this show, click the link in the podcast description. It'll take you to a page on Anchor where you can throw us a buck there. If you don't have any bucks to throw us, that's fine. All we ask is that you rate us on iTunes and Spotify and share us with your friends. Well, that's going to be the end of the show. I appreciate you being here with us, listening to the end. One of these days, I'm going to put in some kind of Easter egg at the end of this, just to reward those of you who are listening
who made it to the end.
All the way to the end. But yes, this has been another episode of Never Seen It. My name is Trent.
And my name is Betsy.
And we will be back with you with another episode later on.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.